They were after show and noise. They thought they could surprise you with fireworks exploding behind you. But you stood tall like a mountain in the midst of all the glitter and fanfare. You were not shaken, you were not excited, because your strength was not in the noise, but in your calmness. As they watched in amazement, they saw that you did not compromise your peace and determination even one step. Don't just be a spectator, be part of the story. With your support, we will become a giant family of 5,000 people. Subscribe now, turn on notifications and join us. Because true stars are not only recognized when they shine, but also when they stand unshaken even in the midst of a storm. Now everyone's eyes are on you. While the fires burn behind you, your stance has shaken some. Have you ever watched the sunrise after a long, sleepless night? It doesn't rush in or make a big announcement. Instead, the darkness gently gives way, little by little, and suddenly the whole sky is flooded with warmth. That's how it is when God is at work behind the scenes in your life. Quiet, steady, always on time. There's something holy about that gentle breaking of dawn, a reminder that no matter how long the night, morning always comes. That sunrise is God's promise to you, chosen one. No season lasts forever, and your time is arriving right on schedule. Sometimes, the world feels like it's standing still, but if you look closely, you'll realize the ground beneath your feet is shifting, preparing you for the extraordinary. You may not have seen the road ahead, but every step you've taken, every tear you've cried, every prayer you whispered in the dark, all of it was heard. You're not here by accident. No, you've been guided, step by step, through situations you never thought you'd survive, through losses that felt unbearable, through moments where hope seemed foolish. Yet here you are, still standing. Not just surviving, but about to thrive. You've learned something precious in those silent, waiting seasons, how to hold on to hope when everything around you screamed, "Let go." You've chosen tenderness over bitterness. While some folks let their hearts grow cold or hard when life disappoints them, you found a way to stay soft, to keep believing, to trust that somehow God was still at work, even when you couldn't see his hand. It's no coincidence that you're hearing this message today. Like a master gardener, God's been working in the soil of your life, pulling up weeds, planting seeds, and tending the roots when nobody else was watching. Others may have judged your journey by what they could see above the surface, but you knew deep down there was more going on beneath the soil. You didn't give up when your breakthrough didn't come overnight. You let patience do its work in you. And friend, let me tell you, what patience builds, nobody can take away. Sometimes, all you could do was take life one day at a time. Maybe you walked through seasons when your prayers felt like they were bouncing off the ceiling, when loved ones turned away, or when opportunities closed up like locked doors. You probably wondered, God, did you forget about me? But every hidden moment, every lonely night, was a seed planted for a harvest you can't even imagine yet. The world will try to tell you your story is over. People may have said you missed your chance. But let me assure you, when God writes your story, he always saves the best chapters for last. The quiet seasons, the chapters nobody else reads, are the ones that prepare you for your public victory. You weren't being overlooked, you were being seasoned. You weren't being denied, you were being prepared. That's what makes you different. That's why, even when you felt forgotten, you refused to get bitter. You chose to keep a sweet spirit. You decided to believe that the author of your story hadn't finished his work yet. And you're right, because while you were wondering when your season would change, God was lining up the people, the resources, and the opportunities you'll need for your next level. Dive deeper into parables and prophecy. Subscribe for revelations. When the time is right, it all comes together. Suddenly, what didn't make sense starts to fit. The closed doors lead to better paths. The disappointments become stepping stones. The pain becomes wisdom. You look back and you realize, if I hadn't walked through that, I wouldn't be ready for this. That's divine timing, friend. That's what it means to be chosen. Now, I know life hasn't been easy. Maybe you've carried burdens that nobody else sees. Maybe you've fought battles in your mind and heart, wrestling with doubts, fears, and regrets. But don't you see? The fact that you're still standing, still loving, still hoping, after all you've faced, is proof that you're stronger than you realize and that God's favor is resting on your life. You are like a tree planted by the water. Storms have come, winds have blown, but your roots go deep. People may not understand how you're still here, still standing, still believing, but they don't see the foundation God has built under your feet. You've weathered seasons of drought and storms, but you're still standing tall. That's grace. Every time you chose to forgive, to hope, to press on, when you could have chosen bitterness or blame, that was a victory. Every time you spoke kindness instead of cursing your situation, heaven took notice. And now, just as sure as the sun will rise tomorrow, your season is changing. You're not stepping into just another day, you're walking into a divinely appointed moment. What's coming your way isn't random, it's the result of every seed you've sown, every tear you've cried, every hope you've held onto when it would have been easier to quit. Sometimes we think the miracle is in the mountaintop, but the real miracle happens in the valley, in the daily choices to trust, to endure, to wait. The world only sees the blossom, but God knows about the roots. And now, all that's been growing in secret is about to break through in public. I want you to remember, God never wastes a season. Every quiet morning, every lonely evening, every day you chose to rise again when it felt pointless, it was all preparation. Just like a potter at the wheel, shaping and smoothing, God has been forming your character for this next season. You're not stepping into the unknown, you're stepping into fulfillment. As you move forward, you'll notice things shift. People you thought would be part of your story may fade away. New faces will appear. Opportunities you never saw coming will present themselves. It will feel unfamiliar at first, maybe even uncomfortable. But remember, new wine can't go into old wineskins. The change is necessary. The unfamiliar is a sign you're in a new room, at a new level. Don't run from it. Embrace it. Maybe you feel like you've been wandering in circles, stuck in the same place for too long. That's about to change. The winds are shifting, and you're being carried into a new season, a place of promise, a land where you don't have to force things or strive endlessly. You're about to step into a rhythm of grace, where the right doors open at the right time and the right people show up to stand with you, not against you. You haven't missed your moment. What's for you has your name on it, and no power in heaven or on earth can take it from you. You've spent years laying foundations not just for yourself, but for those who will come after you. Your children, your community, your legacy. What you've built in faith is about to blossom in sight. There will be moments when you look back and thank God for the things He didn't let happen, the people who walked away, the plans that didn't work out. Because now you'll see, it was all setting you up for something greater. What looked like rejection was protection. What felt like delay was God's way of saving the best for last. Don't be surprised when favor follows you, when peace settles into your home, when provision shows up right on time. You'll begin to experience what it means to live with open hands, to watch dreams you'd given up on suddenly breathe again. This is your harvest season, chosen one. You sowed in tears, now you'll reap in joy. So get ready, prepare your heart, your home, your mind. Make space for the new thing God wants to do. Let go of old disappointments, release the weight of past mistakes. There's no room for shame or regret where you're going. Only gratitude, only hope, only expectancy. Because when God moves, it's never just for you. It's for everyone connected to you. Your breakthrough will overflow. Your testimony will encourage the weary. Your resilience will become a roadmap for others coming behind you. The blessing on your life will ripple out to touch generations. You are not forgotten. You are not behind. You are right on time. You are God's beloved, and your best days are ahead. The same way the sun quietly but powerfully pushes away the darkness, your new beginning is arriving, gentle but unstoppable. Have you ever watched a river break through a stubborn patch of dry ground, finding a new course where it seemed nothing could grow? Sometimes, the living water of God's purpose flows just like that, quietly working beneath the surface, then suddenly carving out a brand new path right under your feet. There's no loud announcement, no fanfare, just the gentle power of destiny making room for itself, no matter what obstacles were in the way. That's how God works in the lives of those He calls His own. Even when you think everything has settled and nothing will change, you find yourself standing at the edge of a brand new beginning. Right now, you might sense it, a kind of holy shifting, like the ground is getting ready to open a door you didn't even know was there. This is bigger than any single person showing up. What's approaching is a meeting place designed by heaven itself, a place where the right moment and the right purpose come together. When that happens, you realize you're not just meeting a companion, but a calling, a destiny, a reason you couldn't have invented on your own. And let me tell you, the one who's about to walk into your life won't be defined by the world's idea of success. They won't measure their worth by what's in their bank account, the car they drive, or the name stitched inside their jacket. No, what sets them apart is what's been built on the inside. They are like a stone that's been polished by many rivers, someone whose patience, wisdom, and quiet strength were shaped by years of trusting God when no one else was watching. You'll notice the difference right away, not because of flashy words or big promises, but because of the steady way they bring peace to your storm. Their presence will be like a gentle hand guiding you down a new road. With them, you'll discover more about your own purpose, not because they complete you, but because they complement you, challenging you to stretch, to believe, to reach for dreams you might have tucked away in a drawer. Their strength will add to yours. Where you once felt alone, you'll feel surrounded. Where you once felt uncertain, you'll feel anchored. Think of it this way. Some people come into your life like a gust of wind, stirring up everything and leaving just as quickly. But this is different. This is a steady flame, a light that stays even when the winds pick up. Their faith isn't loud, but it's sure. They aren't perfect, but they're real. You'll see it in the way they speak, in how they listen, and most of all, in how they pray, not only for themselves but for you, for your dreams, for the vision God has placed inside your heart. You'll find your perspective changing too. Suddenly, things that used to bother you won't matter as much. The small annoyances, the old disappointments, they'll lose their grip. That's what happens when you're aligned with someone who's been walking their own path of faithfulness. They'll support your calling, not compete with it. They'll help you see opportunities where you once saw obstacles. With them, it won't be about who leads or who follows, but about walking together, shoulder to shoulder, both aiming for the same horizon. This person is not just a companion for today, they are a partner for the journey ahead. You'll find yourselves dreaming together, planning together, building together. Their encouragement will help you step out in faith, try things you never dared before, take the risks that scared you. Their wisdom will be a safety net when you're unsure, and their prayers will lift you when your own faith feels weak. And as you begin to move forward together, you'll see God's hand in the details. Doors will open you didn't even know existed. Ideas you thought had died will spring to life. The world around you, your home, your work, your community, will start to shift, reflecting the new thing God is doing inside of you. You'll be stretched, yes, but you won't be stretched alone. Every step will feel lighter, every challenge less intimidating, because you'll know you're not carrying the load by yourself. The beautiful thing is, this connection won't pull you away from who you are, it will draw out your best self. Where there was confusion, there will be clarity. Where there was struggle, you'll find new strength. And all the while, you'll sense that what's happening is so much bigger than just two people crossing paths. This is about God fulfilling a promise, bringing together two journeys so that each can reach new heights. You may have spent years feeling like you were waiting in the hallway, watching doors close, wondering if your turn would ever come. But all the while, God was preparing both you and the one who is on their way. Each of you has walked a unique road, faced private battles, and overcome obstacles nobody else could see. You've both been stretched, refined, and made ready, not so you could stand alone, but so you could build together. When you look back, you'll see how every lonely night, every disappointment, every moment you thought was wasted actually shaped you for this. It's as if God was piecing together a beautiful mosaic, every joy and every tear, every triumph and every failure, a design so much bigger and more stunning than you could ever imagine. You're about to witness what happens when two lives, two callings, two stories merge, not in competition, but in harmony. This isn't the stuff of fairy tales or empty promises. It's the real, lasting work of God, bringing two people together not just for each other's sake, but for the sake of a purpose that will bless many others. The ripples of this partnership will reach farther than you can see now, into your community, your family, even generations down the line. So don't be surprised if, as this new chapter opens, old fears start to fade. Don't be shocked if you find yourself smiling for no reason, feeling lighter, more hopeful, more alive. That's the presence of true alignment at work. It's God's way of letting you know that you're stepping onto the right path, with the right person at the right time. Unlock the doors of ancient faith. Subscribe for new episodes every week. You may have been faithful in the shadows, but now you'll find yourself walking in the light. Not because you chased after it, but because you allowed God to bring the right things to you, in His time and His way. You trusted Him with the process, and now, the reward is unfolding right before your eyes. Every prayer you prayed, every seed you sowed in tears, every time you chose faith over fear, it's all coming together. The blessing that's about to break through won't just touch your heart, it will transform your whole world. The new person arriving in your life is just the beginning of a greater story, one of partnership, purpose, and promise fulfilled. Get ready to step into a season where you don't just survive, you flourish together. Picture yourself walking down a country road just before dawn. The streetlights are behind you, and all you have to guide you are the soft glimmers of light on the horizon and the quiet sound of your own footsteps. Sometimes in life, God places little lanterns along your path, moments that shine just bright enough to remind you that you're going the right way. You might not see the whole journey at once, but you know deep inside that each light, each sign, each feeling of peace in your heart is not just random chance. It's divine guidance, a whisper from heaven that says, "Keep going, you're closer than you think." You know, there's a reason why sometimes your spirit leaps at a certain word, a certain moment, or a certain opportunity. That inner spark, that resonance you feel deep in your soul, isn't just a coincidence. It's like God is gently tapping you on the shoulder, saying, "Are you ready? Because I'm about to do something in your life you couldn't have imagined." It's an invitation, plain and simple, for you to open your heart, lift your head, and get ready for the goodness that's coming. Every longing you ever whispered when the room was dark and the world was quiet, every silent tear you cried when you thought no one noticed, God saw them all. Nothing slipped past Him. While it might have looked like nothing was happening on the outside, let me reassure you, things were already shifting in your favor long before you saw any proof. The answers you needed were being set in motion even before you asked. That's how much God loves you. He's not just reactive, He's proactive. He's already written the solution before you even realized there was a problem. Sometimes what you wanted most seemed just out of reach, and you wondered why. Maybe you looked around and saw others getting ahead, stepping into opportunities that never quite landed in your lap. It wasn't because you were overlooked or forgotten. No, it was protection in disguise. Sometimes what glitters on the surface is only there to distract or deplete you. What looks attractive to the world might actually drain your spirit, leaving you emptier than before. God has kept you from those shiny traps, not to deny you joy, but to save your strength for something far better. There have been moments when a door shut in your face or a friendship drifted away, and it hurt. You might have questioned what you did wrong, but now you can look back and see it for what it was, a detour, not a denial. You were being spared from the things that would have pulled you off your path. God was gently steering you clear of the roads that looked easy but led to dead ends, guiding you toward the one true path that aligns with your destiny. You see, when you belong to God, when you're chosen, He won't let you settle for anything less than what He has planned for you. He'll allow you to experience just enough discomfort to move you forward, just enough waiting to build your character, and just enough closed doors to teach you the value of the open ones. It may not feel pleasant at the time, but when you arrive at your next destination, you'll realize every step, every pause, every tear was worth it. Don't ever think the waiting was wasted. Waiting is where God writes the deeper chapters of your story. It's where trust grows roots. It's where you learn to lean on faith instead of feelings. In those seasons, God is busy lining up all the details, putting people in place, opening the right doors, preparing your heart so you can receive what's coming with open hands. You are not behind schedule. You are not lost. You are not invisible to the one who designed your journey. In fact, every delay, every disappointment, every redirection is proof that you're being shaped for something greater. You're being guided toward a life that is not just good, but abundant, overflowing, and full of meaning. So when you feel that quiet assurance inside, when your spirit says, "Yes, Even before your mind understands why, listen to it. That's God's way of telling you that you're on holy ground. He's saying, "Child, you're closer than you think. Don't give up now." The signposts are lining up. The breakthrough is near. There's a rhythm to divine timing, like a song only your heart can hear. Trust that rhythm. Trust the gentle nudges, the moments of peace, the people who show up at just the right time. Trust that your journey is being choreographed by a loving hand that wants nothing but the best for you. And as you keep walking, know that every wish you tucked away, every hope you tried not to let die, every secret dream you thought was too big, all of it has been treasured by God. Nothing is wasted. He's weaving it all together, preparing a blessing that fits your life, your calling, and your purpose perfectly. Your story is not over. In fact, a brand new chapter is being written right now. Keep your eyes open for those little lanterns on your path. Keep your spirit sensitive to the whispers of heaven. And remember, when it feels like something is tugging at your soul, it's not a coincidence. It's your invitation to step forward, to declare you're ready, to receive the fullness of all that God has in store for you. Think of two rivers, each winding their way through valleys and hills, each carving out their own story through rocks and soil. For years, those rivers may travel alone, quietly nourishing the land on either side, sometimes hidden by forests or shaded by mountains. But then, at a place appointed by the Creator, those two rivers meet, calmly, seamlessly, blending into a single, stronger stream. There's no clash, no confusion, just a peaceful coming together where both find their greater purpose in union. That's what's ahead for you. What's drawing near isn't the whirlwind of infatuation or the drama of passing passion. It's the steady, gentle joining of two lives walking in clarity. You've spent your days choosing what's right, even when it would have been easier to do what's popular. You picked patience over chasing what's quick. You stood in integrity, even when shortcuts called your name. And let me tell you, that hasn't gone unnoticed. Because of those choices, your path has been made ready for someone who carries the same kind of strength. You're about to encounter a soul who has been on their own journey, someone who knows what it means to wait, to grow, to let wisdom shape their heart. They're not searching for someone to fill an empty space. They're coming from a place of fullness, prepared by their own seasons of learning and trusting. This isn't a connection you run after, trying to force open doors or prove yourself worthy. No, it's more like a gentle breeze that comes in the cool of the evening, a sense of rightness, a peace that settles deep in your bones. When it arrives, it won't stir up chaos or leave you second-guessing. Instead, it will bring a calm assurance, the kind that reminds you God's hand is in it all. You'll find your questions fading away, replaced by a quiet confidence. You'll realize you don't have to perform or pretend. You won't feel the urge to grasp or hold on tight for fear of losing it. This is the type of connection that simply fits, where both of you can be fully yourselves and still find that you make each other better. Some might call it fate or luck, but you'll know it's grace. You'll sense it's the answer to prayers you whispered years ago, prayers for companionship that honors your journey, for partnership that brings out your highest calling, not just someone to share a table but someone to build a legacy. There's a kind of comfort that comes from meeting someone who has done their own inner work. You'll recognize it in the way they listen, the way they honor your dreams, the way they walk beside you without needing to outshine you or hold you back. Together, you'll discover that real unity doesn't require losing yourself. It allows you both to shine brighter, together. So, as this chapter unfolds, trust that you're ready. Trust that you've been prepared not by accident, but by design. Trust that the clarity you've walked in has been lighting the way for this very moment, when two stories become one, stronger, wiser, and richer for the journey that brought you here. What's coming is more than romance. It's a union ordained for purpose, a companionship that calms the storm, a partnership that feels like coming home. And when you look back, you'll thank God for every detour, every delay, every time you chose patience and faithfulness over what was easy. Because all along, you were being led to the place where your river meets another, and both flow stronger, farther, and deeper together. Think about how a seed has to be buried in the dark earth before it can ever break through as a flower. It can feel cold and alone beneath the soil, hidden away from the sunlight, but that quiet time is when the roots take hold. Without those roots, there could be no blooming later on. The darkness is not the end. It's the beginning of something beautiful, something that's been planted by God Himself for just the right season. That's how your story has been unfolding. The world around you is shifting, yes, but this transformation goes far deeper than a change of address or a new job title. This is a soul-deep renovation. You'll see it in the way you start to think differently, the habits you begin to form, the hope that starts to spring up where there used to be old doubts. You might even notice your circle changing, new faces coming in, some old ones gently drifting away, and it might feel uncomfortable at first, almost like learning to walk in a new pair of shoes. Don't be discouraged by the unfamiliar. Growth always asks us to leave behind what's comfortable for what's possible. The new spaces God is leading you into are tailor-made for your next season. Where you're headed, you won't have to shrink to fit in, you'll have room to expand, room to become all He created you to be. Looking back, you might remember stretches of life where loneliness settled in, and you wondered if you'd been forgotten or left behind. But let me tell you, that wasn't punishment. That was preparation. Just like a craftsman working quietly behind the scenes, God used those seasons to strengthen what's inside you. He sharpened your vision, grew your wisdom, and made your faith unshakable. The solitude refined your discernment. In the quiet, you learned how to recognize real treasure, so you'd never be fooled by imitation gold again. It's easy to think that our value comes from being seen or celebrated by others, but God has a different way. Sometimes, He takes us off the main stage so He can build us in private, forming a foundation that won't crack when the spotlight hits. Every moment you stood strong in the silence, every time you refused to settle for surface-level satisfaction, you were building the kind of substance this world can't shake. Now, as these new opportunities and environments open up, trust that you're ready, even if it feels strange. The things that once made you feel out of place are now the very qualities that will let you thrive in this new season. You've outgrown old patterns, and your spirit is ready for bigger dreams, wider influence, deeper joy. Don't be afraid to step out into spaces that stretch you. Those places that feel unfamiliar are really just new ground waiting for your roots. Remember, a tree never apologizes for growing taller. Neither should you. As you walk forward, hold onto the truth that every lonely season, every quiet night, every time you stood your ground when no one was watching, none of it was wasted. You've been forged for partnership, for impact, for a life that means more than you ever thought possible. And now, as your world expands, the harvest from all those hidden years is about to break through for everyone to see. Imagine a gardener who sees the dry patch in your yard and brings not just a watering can, but new seeds, rich soil, and the patience to tend what you thought was lost. This isn't someone showing up to pluck your flowers and leave. This is someone sent by God to help you grow the very dreams you thought were past their season. They're not here to uproot you or crowd your sunlight. They've come to make your garden flourish like never before. The blessing on its way into your life isn't about control or competition. It's about true collaboration. This person walks in, arms open, not just willing to share what they have, but eager to see your vision bloom. Their support isn't measured by how much they can take, but by how much they can pour in. You'll feel the difference right away. They're generous, yes, but more than that, they're invested in your success. They don't just bring resources, they bring faith in you. What a gift it is to have someone stand beside you, not above you, and say, "Let's do this together." Maybe there were ideas you shelved, dreams you tucked away because life got heavy or you didn't have the help you needed. But now, with the right partnership, things start to move again. Projects that gathered dust begin to feel possible, even exciting. The energy this new relationship brings is like sunlight after a long winter. Suddenly, everything starts to grow. This is a partnership that multiplies potential. When two hearts are aligned by purpose and generosity, what you build together ripples out far beyond your own lives. The changes you spark won't just bless your household, they'll overflow into your community, inspiring others to believe, to build, and to hope again. You'll find yourselves dreaming bigger, reaching higher, daring to do what once felt out of reach. Their willingness to support isn't conditional. They don't demand to lead or insist on their own way. Instead, they come alongside you, ready to listen, ready to roll up their sleeves and do the real work. That's how you know this is from God. There's a freedom, a peace, a sense that both of you are stronger together than you ever were alone. If you've ever felt like you had to downplay your dreams or settle for less, those days are over. This new chapter is about restoration and elevation. You'll look back and realize that the waiting, the disappointments, and even the seasons when it felt like nothing was growing were just making room for a greater harvest. So prepare yourself, not just for help, but for overflow. The person arriving isn't coming to rescue you or to take charge. They are showing up as a co-builder, a partner who will celebrate your wins, lift you when you're weary, and stand with you through every storm. Their investment in you is a sign of God's faithfulness, a reminder that He never forgets a single seed you've sown in faith. Together, you'll launch ventures that bless more than just yourselves. The world will notice something different, a partnership built not on need, but on mutual trust, vision, and love. When you see how far you've come, when others see the fruit of what you're building, it'll be clear, this was never just your dream alone. It was God's dream all along, and now you have someone to build it with, brick by brick, hand in hand. Legends, miracles, prophecies. Subscribe to see what history forgot. Your relationship will be more than a private comfort. It will become a beacon, shifting the very atmosphere wherever you walk. Where once you met resistance, you'll begin to encounter open doors and unexpected grace. Even the harshest critics will be silenced by the unmistakable transformation in your life, the visible signs that you are moving in harmony with a greater design. This story began long before you could see it. Every act of faithfulness, every release of an old attachment, every refusal to settle for less than what you were promised, has brought you to the edge of this new season. Unseen hands have been arranging the meeting, setting the table, preparing the way. Your legacy is about to take on new depth, not just for you but for generations to come, proving that the choices you made in faith were never wasted. Now is the moment to ready yourself for what's next. Gather your courage, strengthen your trust, and step into the coming days with confidence. The chapter you are entering is not one of isolation or struggle, but of partnership and abundance, where your purpose is matched by support and your journey expands in ways you once only imagined. Let yourself receive what has been prepared, for it arrives with honor, with a renewed calling, and with the promise of a future that honors all the waiting, all the preparation, and all the quiet hope you carried inside.